2022 has become one of the biggest years in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. From the successful release of Sonic 2 in theaters, to the launch of Sonic Origins in the summer, despite some issues. The Blue Blur looks to cap the year off with a bang. In the few years since Sonic's latest adventure, there have been a few game series that have dipped their toe into the open world genre. Among those games was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has left an impact in the last few years since its release, in which many games were influenced by Breath of the Wild, such as Genshin Impact and Pokemon Legends Arceus. When Sega released gameplay for Sonic Frontiers, many were making comparisons to Breath of the Wild in terms of exploration. After spending time with this game, I can tell you it is more than just a Breath of the Wild clone, as it has its own identity, for better or worse. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications as we take the journey through Sonic Frontiers. So the story of Sonic Frontiers starts with Sonic, Tails, and Amy investigating a strong force in the Starfall Islands. As they arrived in the islands, they are sucked into a wormhole. After escaping from a digital world called the cyberspace, Sonic ends up separated from his friends. A mysterious voice then asks Sonic to collect the Chaos Emeralds, while at the same time he is being monitored by an AI called Sage, who controls the robotic guardians to stop Sonic from his mission. At first glance, you can see where the comparisons to Breath of the Wild start in terms of how open the game is. Sonic has a lot of room to run and jump. The main objective is to collect the Chaos Emeralds and to save his friends. But to do that, Sonic has to collect vault keys to open the vaults the emeralds are stored in, and to save his friends, he would have to collect memory tokens as well. Within the island, Sonic has to complete various tasks in order to fill out the map, such as getting it to a switch within a time limit, to dealing the most damage at one item. Once he completes these tasks, a part of the map gets filled, which reveals more items he could find. As he goes through the adventure, Sonic gains the ability called the Side Loop, which is an aura of light that when connected from one end to another, it can make items appear, attack enemies, and can be useful for finding secrets. Sonic can also attain skill seeds that fills up a skill points meter that lets him have new combat abilities, which can be useful when dealing with powerful enemies. The more abilities he gets, the more the skill points have to be used. After obtaining an ability, you will be sent to a training stage for a chance to practice your newly obtained ability. During the game, Sonic would have to enter the cyberspace once again, which contained traditional Sonic platforming that we come to expect, which most levels have callbacks to previous games such as Skyrail from Sonic Adventure 2 to Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2. Each stage has a couple of additional tasks that Sonic can complete to earn more vault keys, such as collecting a certain number of rings by the end of the level and collecting all of the red rings. As you explore the islands, there is an RPG element in this game, as Sonic starts off with level 1, but as you complete tasks and obtain items, Sonic can level up his health, attack, defense, and speed the way he runs. When you fill up your ring meter, Sonic can have the ability to go at max speed, which makes exploring faster and easier. Within the island, there are rock-like creatures scattered around called the Coco that play a part of the story, and in the game, as collecting them will help Sonic level up by collecting a certain amount of Coco. These little fellows aren't exactly like the Chow, but I could see them be back, especially with changes a lot in the Sonic lore. When you feel you want to take a break from exploring the island, you can also access a fishing minigame. From there, Big the Cat will give you a fishing rod that you could fish to get tokens, and depending on the size of the catch, you get more tokens that you could trade for items such as Cocos, memory tokens, and even these audio logs from Eggman. After collecting the Chaos Emeralds from each island, Sonic faces the Titan, which is basically the huge boss with the help of Super Sonic, and each Titan is different and expect to take a while to defeat them, but it actually feels really satisfying in the end. On the subject of graphics and audio, the footage you are seeing is of the PlayStation 4 version, as it is running at 30 FPS on 1080p. The PS5, Series X, and PC versions of Frontiers can run up to 1080p and 60 frames per second in performance mode, while also can run up to 4K but in 30 FPS. It runs pretty smooth and the textures look pretty good, although there are some notable pop-ins throughout the map that can throw the player off, and actually can be quite surprising. In the audio department, the team looked to use various styles for the game that they don't often use, and even got the J-Rock band 1OK Rock for the theme song, and it could be up there with one of the best songs in the Sonic series. A notable example of changes is the voiceover, as Roger Craig Smith's performance as Sonic has a different tone, and it took a while to get used to that voice. Now, let's talk about the issues with Sonic Frontiers. So with many open world games, you can expect a lot of backtracking with a mix of emptiness, and Sonic Frontiers is no exception. There are some parts of the island where, frankly, I felt kind of bored, like there isn't really much to do. It could also be such a repetitive grind from the enemies you face to how you had to level up. and in certain parts of the islands, there are some moments where the camera could have used some work. We have known the current style of gameplay in recent Sonic games such as Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, Sonic Colors, to name a few, but I feel it doesn't really fit the open world genre. So here's an example. Whenever you're going through the rails of ramps, there could be parts where you go from full-on 3D to the 2D side-scrolling, and it can be frustrating, especially when you weren't planning to go there. I never expected Sonic to be in an open world. Admittedly, I just thought it wouldn't fit his style of gameplay. But after completing this game, I can honestly say that Sonic Frontiers is easily one of the strongest Sonic games in a while. I will give Sonic Team credit for taking a risk and doing something different, but I feel it did get enough in return. I feel that this is a game made for the 30th anniversary of the franchise, with the expansion to the lore, the callbacks, and even homages to not only Sonic, but other Sega games that people may or may not have played. It may not be the ideal Sonic game, but it has enough content and gameplay to satisfy Sonic fans new and old. A strong way to cap off the year. Sonic Frontiers for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC gets an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please give this video a big thumbs up, it would mean a lot to me. And if you haven't yet, check out my other reviews and hit that subscribe button as well. Once again, thank you for watching, and take care.